Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and very good morning to all of you. I hope you are safe and sound. Welcome to Melly's Telegram classes. This is the grammar lesson on passive voice for intermediate level, part 1. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the reasons of using passive voice. There are 4 reasons why we use passive voice. Number 1, when the doer of the action is someone whom you don't want to name or blame. Sometimes when you don't want to talk about the doer of an action or the subject of an action, we can use the passive voice. For example, I was given the wrong directions. Now here, I don't want to talk about the doer of the action, or I don't want to blame the doer of the action. The second reason is when the doer of the action is unknown. Sometimes the subject of an action or the performer of the action is not known, is not clear. In that case, we can also use the passive voice. For example, the lights were left on. Now here, I don't know who left the lights on, that's why I have used passive voice. Number 3, when the doer of the action is less important than its receiver. Sometimes, in a sentence, the subject is more important than the object, and in some sentences, the subject is less important than the object. Now, when the subject or the doer of an action is less important than the object, in that case also, we can use the passive voice. For example, the package was delivered this morning. Now here, it's not important who delivered the package, although it's clear. I don't want to talk about it. And the last reason is, the passive voice allows you to focus on what's important by bringing it to the front of the sentence. Remember, in English grammar, when a word is brought to the beginning of the sentence, it bears a special importance. And that's why sometimes we use passive voice. For example, the package was delivered this morning. In this sentence, the package is a very important phrase, and that's why we have brought it to the beginning of the sentence. This is all about the reasons why we use passive voice. Now, let's talk about different tenses in passive voice. The first tense is simple present tense in passive voice. The verb form that we use in simple present tense in active voice is verb 1. And if the subject is singular, then we use s, es, or ies. But the form of the verb that we use in passive voice, in simple present tense, is verb 3. The auxiliaries of simple present tense in active voice are do and does, and in passive voice are is, am, and are. The positive structure is subject plus is, am, are plus verb 3 plus by phrase. For example, number 1, the teacher helps the students. The teacher is the subject, helps is the verb 1 or the first form of the verb, and the students is the object. Now if you want to change it to passive voice, you have to bring the students to the beginning of the sentence and the teacher to the end of the sentence. The students are, not is. You have to use a helping verb according to the new subject. The students are helped. Do not say help. In passive voice, we always use the third form of the verb. The students are helped by the teacher. The students is the new subject, are is the helping verb, helped is verb 3, and by the teacher is the by phrase. Example number 2. You blame me again. I am blamed again by you. Example number 3. Naeem sends the emails. The emails are sent by Naeem. Let's talk about the negative structure. In the negative structure, you just need to add not after the helping verbs. So the structure is subject plus is, am, are plus not plus verb 3 plus by phrase. For example, number 1, the teacher doesn't help the students. If you want to change it to passive voice, this is negative. The passive sentence should also be negative. So you should say, the students aren't helped by the teacher. You cannot say the students are helped by the teacher. That's wrong. Because this sentence is negative, this should also be negative. And a good point is, if this is a contraction, this should also be a contraction. If it is does not, then try to use are not here. But since in this case we have doesn't, we should use aren't. For example, number 2, you don't blame me again. I'm not blamed again by you. I've not used a contraction here because am not doesn't have a standard contraction in English. Example number 3, Naeem does not send the emails. The emails are not sent by Naeem. Let's talk about the positive interrogative structure. In this structure, you just need to take the helping verbs and use them in the beginning of the sentence. So the structure is, am, are, plus subject, plus verb 3, plus by phrase. For example, does the teacher help the students? In passive voice, it will be, are the students helped by the teacher? I cannot say is the students, because are is used according to the new subject, and the new subject is plural. Do not forget a question mark at the end of the sentence. Number 2, do you blame me again? Am I blamed again by you? And number 3, does Naeem send the emails? Are the emails sent by Naeem? Do not forget a question mark at the end of this sentence as well, because it's a question. Let's do an oral exercise. In this exercise, you have to change the following sentences to passive. Let me do the first one. They repeat the exercise. They is the subject, the exercise is the object. The exercise is repeated by them. Good luck with the rest of them. Let me tell you the answers. Number 2, we play chess. Chess is played by us. Number 3, they forget us. We are forgotten by them. Number 4, she teaches English. English is taught by her. And the last one, he writes a story. A story is written by him. This concludes our session for today. Do not forget the exercise that you have to perform after watching the same video. Remember, this is just a short version of our today's lesson. The very lesson is taught in complete details in our regular classes. Thank you.